And then you. What's going on, all? It's the aftermath. Catteral versus Taylor. Thanks for tuning in once again, man. Thanks for stopping by. I always appreciate your time. I'm very disappointed in this outcome and what we saw on the weekend. Now, this fight was for undisputed, and Josh Taylor was the heavy favorite in this fight. The heavy favorite. Even myself thought that he would finish this boy off. I thought that he would be too skilled. I mentioned that Taylor's a guy that creates opportunities, and Catterall's a guy that waits for opportunities, right? And that's exactly what happened in the fight, but instead Taylor couldn't create the opportunity. He kept going in there and trying to enter the pocket with the jab. Once he steps forward, and keep in mind, Taylor's the bigger guy in this fight. And he didn't need to be chasing Catteral. He didn't need to be pushing forward. He's the taller guy. He can jab, move away if he wanted to, but he insisted on pushing forward every round and getting caught from the overhand left hook, right? The overhand left. Which Catteral was waiting for, waiting for the opportunity. And it came every round. So he lands that punch in the first round, rocks Taylor. That's his round. Basically, the first half of the fight, Taylor's getting pushed around in the sense of he's coming forward, but he's getting rocked by that punch, by that left punch that Catterall's loading up. Now, Catterall's keeping down low. Taylor's going in with the jab, initiating the jab to try to come forward and open up a left hand, which never works. All the time he's going to throw the left hand, Catteral will come with his own left and catch him because he's moving forward into the punch. And Taylor could have easily initiated lead shots. You look at the Carl Brook fight. You look at when he fought Khan. He went in there not entering with the jab, entering with lead shots. This is what Taylor could have done. Now, Catteral fought a great fight. He had a game plan, which was wait for Taylor to come in, catch him with the left hand, stay away from it. And he managed to pull that off every single round, Now, he did fade off in the later rounds, but he caught him and knocked him down, which sealed the fight in my opinion, by far. You look at the stats, the stats itself says that Catteral landed more, that Catteral punched more, that Catteral was more accurate. Catteral had the more effective punches. You look at the knockdowns. There was only one in the fight. There was a point deducted by each person. And Taylor did not deserve to win that fight, man. That's bottom line. Like I said, the first half of the fight, Catteral kept landing that punch. He rocked him in the first round. Knocked him down in the later rounds. So, there's no way that Taylor could have won that fight. No way. That's a pure corrupt decision in my opinion. I go again with the boxing rules, Scoring boxing. Firstly, judges, right? You do not need to be qualified to be a judge. This needs to change, especially for undisputed fights or big fights. Now, Catteral may have been a guy that was a little boy, I don't really know his background, but his dream may have been to be an undisputed champion, and they've taken that away from him by corruption. They've taken that dream away from him, or that hope from him, by a decision that shouldn't have been. Now, I also understand there would have been a lot of people betting. I understand that people bet for a living, which I don't agree with, but, all to their own. And these people got robbed too. These people also got robbed. So not only did he rob the fighter from an undisputed dream, he also robbed people's incomes, because some people do that for money. And most of all, man, he robbed the fans. Even though Taylor's a bigger star and all that, man, the boxing fans still wanted Catteral to win because he deserved to win. He deserved to win that fight. Regardless of which way you look at it, money-wise, business-wise, whatever you may think. Taylor Crawford next, whatever management people may think, you got to do what's right by the sport here. Now, like I said, the judges need to change, for these fights. They need to get professional boxing background people or people that are very experienced in boxing that can give a full analysis after the fight. They can give a full interview after the fight, because this is not on at all. This is what's making boxing fans leave watching boxing. Now, obviously, there is a lot of stars in the sport. Obviously, there is a lot of people that are fans of other boxers. Obviously, boxing is lit up again. That's for sure, But you got to do what's right here. And this was not right to, rob Catteral. Because that's what it was, in my opinion. It was a robbery. There's no way that Taylor could have won that fight. Even his corner was saying in the 12th round, you need to knock him down. You need to knock him down, shouting it. You know what I mean? Taylor knows that he lost the fight. That's another thing. The fighters also need to put their pride down, and just accept it for what it was, If you think you're doing good in a fight, man, and you're going to the corner and the corner's saying, that guy won, or maybe you need a knockdown to win because that guy's ahead on points, man. You gotta think, maybe this guy did deserve to win. Maybe I should say it that, this guy should have won. Or even watch it back and say, you know what, man, I want to give this guy my titles. I don't know if that's allowed, but, do something in those lines to give him his roses, because that was a fight that he may have been waiting for his whole life, undisputed fight. Not many people see the day to have an undisputed fight. Like I said, in heavyweight boxing, it's been over 20 years since we've had an undisputed fight. You know what I mean? So it's not something to be messed around with, for sure. It's very corrupt. I believe that everyone should try to change this by speaking about it, by sharing things. If you hear something or see something, social media is a very powerful tool. Share it. You know what I mean? Share the content. Spread the word, man, because I can guarantee you, I know that I'm a small channel. I know that the channel, there's a lot of boxing channels out there, but I can guarantee you that I have reached somebody out there that didn't even know that the fight existed, and if maybe they might one day get into boxing, they may not be boxing fans, and they may be like, you know what, man, that's the same fight that Jay was talking about, and that's how it is, man. That's how it is. That's we need to really unite as a people, or as boxing fans, or just do what's right in the sport. If the fighter's not going to do it, which I believe he should, because if Taylor has a championship, man, and he challenges Crawford, I'm going for Crawford. Whoever he fights, I'm going for the opposite person until he gives Catteral his rematch that he deserves, because that was obviously Catterall's night. He came there. He may not be the better fighter, but he came there with a better game plan. He came there and he delivered the win. That's for sure, without a doubt. Taylor was far too predictable. He couldn't protect that eye of his that got hurt early, and he couldn't adapt, he couldn't find, or he couldn't create an opening because he couldn't get inside. He kept getting shut down from the left hand of Catterall's. But I want to thank everyone for tuning in today, man, and I am disappointed of the outcome, and I believe I really needed to speak on that. I gave Catteral 8-4. You know what I mean? Effective punching is number one rule in boxing. That's how you score boxing. That's the number one rule. A guy can move around, man, and stick and move, and if a guy catches him, And especially if he knocks him down and he's landing that same punch over and over clean, that's his round. That's an effective punch. Not only that, he also outlanded him, he outjabbed him. So I don't know how you could get that wrong. I don't know how they could get that wrong. But it is the aftermath, man, and full credit to Jack Catteral. He deserves to be the champ, man, and he is the champ, in my opinion. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, man. Subscribe to the channel, man. Leave a comment. Look forward to hearing back from you, man. Peace. And then you. God bless, man. Stay safe. Have a good one.